Okay, opposing trainer has been found. Let's see what Emil is bringing this week. Emil is bringing... No, Galar Zapdos is actually pretty big for this team. That was kind of one of the main concerns that I had going in, was that Pokemon. Fucking Ampharos is in, oh my god. Emil is the GOAT, and then the Glastrier. So no... no Spectrier. I don't know what Emil is cooking here. Emil's always cooking something ridiculous. So I have hazards on both Uxie and Diancie, so I could lead with either one of those. Emil led with Ampharos in his last week game. I only know that because we just watched it on stream. He could lead with Tinglu as well. I could lead Dragapult. Dragapult feels like a pretty obvious lead, so it'd be interesting to see if he has like counter lead Galarian Zapdos. I could just lead I think I'm going to lead Diancie in that. That gives me a chance to set up a layer of spikes. I think it leads well against the majority of the team. So good luck, have fun to Emil here. And let's get into it. Finally, I got a different background in this game. I got the crappy gym one each time. Okay, this actually ended up being a pretty good lead against Glastrier here. It could be some sort of sweeping random nonsense set. This could do actually a decent amount to me. And Diamond Storm actually doesn't do a lot. It is pretty bulky on the defensive side. But look at what his switch-ins for this could be. I could just Diamond Storm. Probably I could Diamond Storm set up. I think it's pretty obvious that he's just not going to do anything and just switch out here. He's just going to SD in my face. Okay. That's a little bit of a concern that it has SD. So if it's SD, this thing... I should live basically any hit from this, I think. I'm just going to Diamond Storm and try to get damage on this. But yeah, I do live that. And we'll just go for the Diamond Storm here. Get some big damage off on the Glastrier here. So we do have a spike up. Glastrier is in pretty big damage. I'm surprised he doesn't have Heavy Slam on this. That ends up being pretty good for me. There's a chance that this is Trick Room, something random like that. Problem is my Dragapult doesn't come in and revenge this actually. I can come in and revenge with the Volcarona at least, so there is that, but I'm just gonna Diamond Storm again in case he tries to get greedy. So he's gonna Trailblaze and get some speed boost. So we are stomping. Yeah, should I have attacked twice? Interesting to think about that one. So what do I want to do here now? He has Stomping Tantrum, Trailblaze. I can go into my Uxie. My Uxie should be able to live the most of the hits that this thing wants to put out at +2. The problem is that doesn't really accomplish me much in this game. He could be hold on. I think I'm just gonna go into the Volcarona because that does outspeed and kill this thing. Question is do I want to use the Terra here? It's an interesting question. I could Terra, but I think I'm just best off killing this thing right here. It could be Occaberry is another consideration, but I don't think I really have I'm not really in a position where I can play around that. Yeah, and he's just going to withdraw. Okay, so that's good to know. That was a potential big problem for this game. Kind of gone immediately, and Volcanion comes in. And we're going to get a little bit of damage off on that. So we did... And so this doesn't have an item that we can see, but luckily our Vaporeon is pretty equipped to handle anything that this thing wants to do. And I think that's going to be boots there on the Volcanion, as it does not take any spikes, so that's good to see. Good to get that information pretty early on the game. It goes for the Sludge Bomb, kind of predicting this to come in. We live that one perfectly. So we are actually minus speed nature to underspeed this thing and always get a baton pass. I guess the question is, so one of the things that came up is, does this thing substitute, and kind of what, if that happens, what do I do? I could baton pass out, I'm always going to get the BP out here. I could just Hyper Voice, see what Emil's switch into this is. I think he's probably going to go into something like the Ampharos. He's the most likely case here. if he's going to elect to make that move. He's going to Baton Pass. I think Baton Pass is just kind of the safest option. He's going to elect to taunt. Okay. So he's taunt. So he's taunt Sludge. So I can see, at this point I think I'm just going to Hyper Voice and attack. See if he sets up a substitute. He's just going to Sludge Bomb me. We can take those all a day. And that Hyper Voice, I mean, is going to do like literally nothing here. But Emil's kind of putting me in a little bit of a rough spot now. How do I want to... This is kind of an awkward position in terms of the taunt. So he attacks again. I can Hyper Voice. It's starting to get in range of... This is like very Spadaf as well. Is something that's coming up here. I'm just going to continue to damage this because if this gets weak enough, then it becomes, you know, alright, we finally get poison. That makes sense. It gets put into the range. It gets put into range of, what is it called? The Volcarona. I think I'm just going to Hyper Voice again. This is not, I mean, this Pokemon is like pretty much here to neuter the Volcanion, so I'm pretty okay with just doing this and just Hyper Voicing again. He's going to withdraw, okay. He does go into Ampharos this time, alright. It's going to take some damage here. It is going to take Spikes, so it's not Boots. And it's going to take nothing, really. But this does mean that Emil can't click Steam Eruption still effectively in this match. I'm going to elect to go out here into the Uxie. Uxie can pretty much handle anything that this thing wants to do. Not really concerned primarily with Ampharos at this point. Uxie here was primarily designed as a way to answer the Galar Zapdos, which, you know, obviously did not come this week. So we're pretty content to do this. So with Boots Volcanion, let's see what he likes to do. Probably Volt Switch. He's just going to discharge. I can take that all a day, every day. Okay, so setting up Stealth Rocks here would pretty much make the Glastrier probably useless. I don't think that's going to be Boots if that was a lead. It's going to put some damage onto the Moltres, you know, make it more difficult for Screamtail and Tinglu to come in. I could also just elect to U-turn here, but if something like the Moltres comes in, you know, a U-turn would be nice. I can bring out something like the Hands and start to get really aggressive here. I do already have a layer of Spike Up, which is going to be kind of the most important thing. So I'm just going to elect to U-turn here, maintain some momentum. He does elect to switch out. And he does go into that Galar Moltres. Okay. That's going to take a decent amount of damage. So now I get to come back into this. So he's probably not... He's probably Terra Poison is the most likely scenario here. Hurricane doesn't actually do... I think I can just come into the Iron Hands here. Iron Hands is going to be able to deal, you know, a bunch of damage to this Moltres Galar. I mean, he's pretty much going to be forced to Terra, but this Thunder Punch is going to do an absolute shit ton. He does reveal to be leftovers, but I am pretty okay with this scenario. Just letting... I could Sword Stance here, but I'm not really interested in like messing around with like Hurricane just about yet. It's still pretty likely that he could go into something like Tinglu here, but I'm just going to elect a Thunder Punch. I mean, Tinglu's not very likely. Yeah, okay, he does like to U-turn. Makes a lot of sense. I could have set up, but once again, if I set up a Sword Stance, he goes he could go Tinglu, or he could go Screamtail. Actually, is the more likely scenario. That doesn't really advance me that far. He goes into Glastrier. Okay, probably just trying to sack this off then. Was hurt by the spikes. And use our Iron Hands. No fucking way, man. You weak bastard. Not killing this thing. Thing is, I'm gonna take like 40 from this. I do have Rest. Just set up. I kind of just needed to claim a kill here. I could go into... Like, what I could do is I can go hard into Uxie here on the Stomping Chantrum and just U-turn off of it to preserve as much health that I can on this. That probably is the most reasonable thing to do. Iron Hands is one of my liking win conditions here. Oh, this bitch is probably faster too. I think this has Trailblaze, so it has to have some sort of speed investment. Oh well, I guess I'm good enough anyway to predict this off each other. I'm so bad when like any Pokemon is below 60 speed. Fuck, they all have the same speed, and I'm always gonna get outsped. Is my perspective. So I'm gonna get a click U-turn. Give me that kill. All right. Glastrier killed by Uxie. So Uxie picks up the first kill of the season for itself, so that's good. So Glastrier has killed something and been killed, so we're at a little bit of a 50-50 there with that. The question is now what do they want to go into? So I could go into something like, I can't really go into Dragapult because then they go into Tinglu and that doesn't really benefit me too much. I can go into Iron Hands. Iron Hands invites in something like the Screamtail, and Screamtail then allows me to go into my Volcarona. If I go Iron Hands, they could go Volcanion as well and just Sludge Bomb. That gives me an opportunity to attack. I kind of like Iron Hands, actually. I think Iron Hands protects against a lot of what I want to protect against here. And the main thing I want to do is I want to have a decent switch in, and I want to get a turn here where I can Will-O-Wisp with the thing. Okay, Ampharos comes out on Iron Hands. What the hell is Emil doing with this thing? I guess I shouldn't even talk shit. I have this in the game I'm playing against Emil later. So he could have like Focus Blast or something. Drain Punch does like a decent amount. It does like almost half. He could be Cotton Guard. Cotton Guard is like, it could be like Cotton Guard setup. I could see that being something Abel wants to do here. This thing has static, right? I could also... what is my situation for this if it is Cotton Guard? I'm just going to attack. I am Resto Chesto, so I mean, just doing damage here. I'm out speeding this as well. Same kind of just attempt to attack. This is kind of slow. Is it Cotton Guard? Dazzling Gleam. That is going to do a decent amount, but this bitch is so fat. Oh my god, I love Iron Hands. Alright, what is Amlo going to do now? It's pretty obvious that Screamtail can come out here, but Screamtail is pretty easy for me to just go into Uxie here, so I'm kind of just at a no-loss play of just Drain Punching in this position. I could get aggressive and Thunder Punch. Like, what would the calc be for that? Thunder Punch does like 20 to 25. This thing felt a little bit on the bulkier side here. I'm looking at like maybe a little bit better than 252, so I'm just going to Drain Punch here. See if he'll let me take it. Maybe I could have Thunder Punch. He is just going to let me take it. Okay, perfect. So Ampharos killed by Iron Hands. So we pick up 2 Pokemon early on. And now we get to see what his answer is to this. I could see something like Screamtail probably comes in here. Volcanion also a possibility, but I am 252 Spadef, so he's going to bring the Moltres here. So it's pretty likely that this is Terra Poison and is going to try to Hurricane me. I actually am in a position, let me just see the specs calc. So I can take a modest specs here. And if he Terras, Thunder Punch is doing a decent amount. It's doing about half. I risk a Confusion here as well. I don't have an amazing switch into this thing, to be honest. And I kind of just want to maximize as much damage as I can with this thing. He is going to Nasty Plot and stay in regular form. This might have been a really ballsy play on my part. I think this thing's just going to drop. Wow. Any Berserk? Oh, this shit's getting fast. What the fuck? Alright, it's yeah, we knew it was leftovers. So we stayed in, took a ballsy play. Okay, so it's obviously not this thing now. So if I go to +2, 252 modest, 349, how much damage is this dealing? I need a min roll to live this. I could go into something like the... Does this thing shit get priority or something? Hold on. I'm just gonna go into... I'm just gonna sack this off, I think. It's kind of my best play. You can't like do anything cringe, like set up a substitute or anything. And he's just gonna Air Slash, okay. And Berserk is plus special attack. The problem is with my fucking Dragapult set, I actually can't... Does Air Slash not fucking... Oh, it's +3. I have to remember that it's +3. U-turn from the Dragapult's going to do a decent amount. I'm just going to bring in Dragapult. The Surf should have a decent chance at killing this right now. It does have a decent chance if it's, you know, just like a setup speed set here. He's probably going to think I'm Draco. I could just U-turn and he is like attacking here. He could go into Tinglu here, is kind of pretty obvious. And if he stays in, U-turn is still going to do like a decent amount. And he could like just tear up poison and air slash. And at that point, I think I can sack something like the what is it called? I can sack my Uxie here. I'm just going to U-turn. Yeah, he's going to like to tear up poison. Okay. Or it could be Terra Flying, actually. Oh, Terra Steel. This is fucking Terra Steel. Why am I knew that was Terra Steel was the other option. I should have just Shadow Balled that. That was kind of like evident and kind of like obvious that I could have just Shadow Balled and killed. I guess I was like kind of concerned. Oh, he could have agility last move. That would be like actually pretty cringe in this spot. High key. I don't think if he has it, he doesn't click it there though. I'm just going to go into Uxie. That was, I think, unnecessarily complicating this game for no reason. I knew he was tearing. He's going to Terra Steel. Okay. So we know what the last moves are. Nice, I'm at 69. And then he ends up at more HP, but now he puts himself now in range of my Shadow Ball. I'm just going to elect a T-Wave in case he decides to do something else. I'm faster than this thing? What? Really, this bitch is slow. Oh, hold on. Oh my god, this thing's slow as hell. What the fuck? Okay, so now that I know this means I can then bring in... Okay, well now this is easy because I can just bring in Volcarona, and now we're good with that. Okay. This thing is way faster than I give it credit for, to be honest. I could set up rocks now at this point. Rocks are probably decent to get up. Now that we can bring in the Volcarona to revenge kill this, because we know it's leftovers. So yeah, I'm just going to Stealth Rock. So now we have rocks and spikes up. What a cringe game. I feel a little bad for Emil there. I don't think this is like really like impacting the end result of the game too much, but it is like pretty unfortunate for Emil that this is happening. I'm just gonna attack. I've been trying to sack this off. I would have preferred he killed me there, to be honest. What is wrong with this game, man? What the fuck? Emil is like, there's no possible world, right? Like this thing is gonna fucking get obliterated by Volcarona when I come in. But like I just every turn away from it not happening just gives me more and more anxiety. Oh, and he's just gonna U-turn out. Okay, well that's actually pretty good for me as well because I do have Rocky Helmet, so that's gonna put that in range of the Stealth Rocks now when it comes in. So that's gonna die to Uxie. Uxie might get 2 kills here. Okay, and now because of the U-turn, Emil now has to pick what he wants to go into, which is going to give me pretty good advantage in this spot. He's going to elect to go into the Volcanion here. I don't really have a good switch into this now, which is like a little bit of a problem. Okay, so let's see. So I could go into Dragapult. I could go into... 252 Modest Steam Eruption actually does not really kill the Iron Hands here. He'd have to crit me with any of his moves to kill Iron Hands. So I think I'm just going to bring in Iron Hands and Thunder Punch this. I think it's my best play, realistically. That's going to leave me potentially weak to Tinglu in the back. But I am pretty much set up to live this thing here. He could go Tinglu. But I just can't let this thing get a free hit. So I should be pretty good to live the Steam Eruption. That did like actually 3 damage. This thing is fat. Alright, let's go. And that is Volcanion out of the way. Iron Hands is putting in the work today. So Moltres is dying. He's got Tinglu and Screamtail. So unless Emil's like cooked up in the lab some like crazy Screamtail, then I think actually Volcarona should be able to set up on almost anything here and win the game. So I think we've kind of pulled this one out of the bag here. The Glastrier at the start gave me a little bit of a scare. That was a pretty interesting lead, especially considering he had no fear of that Diancie whatsoever. So I guess my thing here now is I gotta protect. Like, how do I lose this game? What situations do I lose this game in? And like, so if he goes to Screamtail, how does this thing have 115 speed? What is wrong with this game? Why is this thing so fucking fast? So it is lefties. Oh, it's booster energy. Oh, booster speed. It's pretty likely Dazzling Gleam kills me here. This might get dicey quick. I think Volcarona is still good here, though. Question is how do I prevent worst case scenarios of losing here? I think I just Thunder Punch. He's probably going to Dazzling Gleam. That protects against random setup. I could also just randomly live this. I just lived this. This thing just, like, does not die. Please, any paras? No para. Okay. Does this thing get a rock move? It gets Stomping Tantrum, but I think, like, we're still going into Volcarona after this and trying to deal as much damage as we can. We don't have to set up in its face, I don't think. I kind of want to see the calcs on. He's going to Wish! Really? Wow, that is really good for me. And this thing's just going to die. Iron Hands, putting in the work. Interesting, I think that might be like a play of desperation of him trying to like get me to outplay myself there. Is I think most likely what Amel's trying to do. But like I'm always just attacking there. I have no reason to not make that play. That lowers my special attack, but I'm just going to drop a Drain Punch here. No reason not to. And that's going to do a decent amount of damage, but it's going to gain that back with the Wish. And I gain like no health back from that. And he is going to kill Iron Hands with the Earthquake. But I think now it is most likely that Volcarona into the Terra is just going to be able to 2-hit KO this. And then at worst, then I come in with my what is it called? My Dragapult and Surf it at the end. In this spot, we're gonna Terra Fairy, hit him with the Terra Blast, and we are pretty fast. So I mean, obviously our own hands outsped, so it doesn't really matter in this spot. But wow, that was a little bit of a, I don't want to say dicey game. I felt a little bit anxious playing that all the way through. But I kind of do on Wi-Fi for the most part anyway. That Terra Blast, let's see how much that does. Love the animation on Terra Blast in this game. That is going to do a decent amount. He's just going to Earthquake me. I take a lot of damage on that, to be fair. And he is leftovers. So this might be a... I think this might be a Dragapult 1-0 game, which is not great for my differential. Would have liked the 2-0. But no, I am going to pick up the knockout. So Ting-Lu is going to die to Volcarona, and then Moltres should die upon Stealth Rocks, which means Uxie is going to pick up that kill, and we are going to beat Amel here in week number 3. Oh, Spikes and Rocks, of course. But we're... Oh, this thing doesn't... Oh, Volcarona gets another kill? Alright, well, I'll take that. We'll take it. Free kill for Volcarona. I keep forgetting this was in steel form, so it doesn't actually die. Another kill for Volcarona, and that is week 3 in the books. 2-0 victory. I think that pulls me back to like even on differential because I was 3-0 last week. But 2-1 is all that matters here, and a great way to get going into week 4. And that is week number 3 in the books against Amel. A good win there. A tough matchup. Amel didn't bring a lot of the Pokemon I was expecting. If you watched the team builder, Zapdos Galar was one of the main threats I was really worried about the most on his team. Didn't end up coming, thankfully, and I think we had a really good game. Out of all 3 of the games I played, I feel like the best about how I played that game, certainly. So, really good momentum to take going into week 4, where we play against J-Bear, who won the entire BBR last season, and his team is ridiculous, to say the least. It is going to be an even tougher matchup than we had this week. The matchups are just getting progressively worse. It is a nightmare. But stay tuned for that video coming next week. Team Builder and Battle Upload as always. If you've gotten this far and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're hoping to hit, I think I want to hit 400 by the end of this season of the BBR, and then from there we'll see what goals are attainable. But I've been really enjoying my time so far playing a Wi-Fi Draft League again, and I only think there's better things for us to come, especially where we started 2-1 and start off well again this season. So I'll see you next week, and as always, have a wonderful day.